So I can see how that would build a mindset where, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going. This is, and I think it will prepare you. I mean, you're not as old as I am. You're still in the sport, but I think, as I was prepared, I didn't expect this, this injury with the concussion. I never experienced anything like that in my life. I did hit my head in football and stuff like that, had concussions, but then walked it off. And this one was pretty debilitating.
Yeah.
But never did I question that whole entire mindset where, I'm going to quit. This is too much for me. It just kept going for some strange reason. And I think that was built in from sports, whether it was football, wrestling, rugby, and for with your case, all the sports that you've done and the mindset that you had, you wanted to kick butt. You would never wanted to give up. And you kept going, you kept going. Even when you did give up on a sport, you went to another sport to challenge yourself. So you consistently challenge yourself. What are the other? What kind of challenges have you put in place for yourself this year?
Um, like goals in mind? Is that what we're talking?
Yeah, goals.
Like I'm going to the U23 Pan American Championships, and I want to win. Like I don't want to just go and have a good tournament. Like of course I want to have a good tournament.
Hmm.
And like that is I want to win. I want to win the worlds. I want to, but ultimately like I want to be unbearable to wrestle.
Hmm.
I want to be that person where like I am I want to be tough as nails and never give up. It's the 5th minute with 40 seconds left and I'm still coming at you, and I just like the other person, like I feel like I just want them to give up. I want them to feel me and feel like I can't do anything about this. And that is hard, and I'm definitely not there yet, but I that is ultimately my goal within the year, but within my entire career is that's what I want to be as a wrestler. And I feel like every day I want to go in with that intention of that's what I'm building myself. I'm molding myself into that person. So that's kind of like the ultimate challenge that I've um, made for myself recently, like, and within the year, like that's what I want to do. And I feel like to win the things that I want to win, like you have to be that person.
Hmm. You got to embrace the grit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this about me, but I was an NC2A wrestler. I wrestled down at Fresno City College first, then I went to Eastern Michigan University. I experienced a different mindset down there, the grind. Collegiate wrestling forced me to keep wrestling from the bottom. Like I couldn't stop. You had to keep going. You had to keep going,
Yeah.
keep going. Whereas I think when my freestyle was pretty lazy, it was. Okay, get up and, we'll try another takedown here. Whereas if you took a takedown in collegiate, and you didn't get it, you were going to get beat on for the next, minutes because the person was on top of you and you had to escape. So if you're going to shoot, if you're going to take somebody down, you better earn it.
Yeah.
So it taught me to really, really, grind it and keep going. So, um, I've seen that, when years ago when I was at Brock with Richard Deshadley's training. I'm sure that's the same way it's going with you guys over at Brock too, just the grind.
Yeah. Definitely. Like you got to earn everything, and the grind. We just recently, the girls team, we went to Japan
Hmm.
and we trained at a university in Japan. Marty came with us, and there, if I'm not mistaken, this university also doubles as like one of their national training. What's the word I'm looking for?
Center.
Yeah, um, it doubles as a national training center. So uh, lots of these girls are either like alumni from the university and on national teams, or they're at the university on national teams. And we got to experience a regular week of their training, and it was eye opening. It was we're getting up at 6:30 every morning to training is at 6:30 almost every morning, and we're on the track, and it's laps and laps and laps around the track, partners on your back, you're doing lunges around the track, um, and like five flights of stairs as a part of your warm up, and you're coming down double legs, 10 double legs, 10 body lifts, max push-ups, max chin-ups. Okay, do it again. Run a lap around the track as fast as you can. 5 flights of stairs, like, and this is just a regular. They're not like showing off because this Canadian team's here. Like, we're just at their practice. And then training afterwards, like, we've got wrestling practice and a few hours later, and that goes for 3 hours. And it's lots of the basics. We're in our stance, we're doing stance work, we're hitting technique, but then there's 30 3-minute goes on the clock. Go do them all, do as many as you can, and then when we're done that, there's 15 more 1-minute goes, and then when we're done that, we're doing overload. And it's push up wheelbarrows down the mat and then do it backwards on the way back, and 3 rope climbs, things like that. Like, we experienced that, and it was eye-opening for every single person there. So we came back, and now we're implementing those things. Like, it doesn't, because we thought we were grinding hard, and everyone thinks Brock is like the grinders of Canada, and we do, but there's always a bigger fish somewhere. And this was a great experience for everybody. And Marty talks about it was a great experience for him too as a coach, because now we're taking things that we did in Japan and we're bringing it back to practice. And
I think that's probably why Marty is, is having such a success. Coaches, I think sometimes they get into this, and I'm just speaking from, I guess, from my experience or observations as well. But coaches get into this funk where they think they're the expert, and
yeah,
that they're going to just, I'm going to sit in my little domain. I'm going to teach, and that's what happens. I had recently, well, not recently, but I go out to Michigan a lot. If you follow our Instagram, if you follow our um, podcast, you might have seen me speak with the University of Michigan swim coach. I know I don't look like a swimmer, and I'm not.
I was
But I fell into swimming through my daughter and going up to the Michigan camps. But his philosophy, I really, after having Jim Richardson, sorry, I met the coach down there, Jim Richardson. After having met him a couple times, bring him on the podcast, I have found lessons from this coach that I never thought I would have before, and I started to grow as a coach. I've implemented in my wrestling room. I coach young kids now. I don't do university wrestling for a number of reasons. I won't get into that now, but more so, I have kids that are wrestling myself, so I'm trying to, I guess, push them into the sport too. But we went with swimming, and I will tell you, the focus point in my wrestling, it's effort and attitude. That's what I base it on,
yeah.
because with effort and attitude, you will accomplish a lot of things. I don't care about the gold medals. This is my philosophy. Maybe not Marty's. Uh, I more the performance is what I look for. Because if you take sixth in a tournament, but you worked your ass off to get that sixth place, you know what? I'm proud of you. If you got the gold medals and you had a crappy performance in getting there, well, we still got to look at your performance, right? So, um, just from learning from that coaching style has made me a better person as well. And I think we talked about Marty maybe a little bit too much already, but I think that's why his success is there. Speaking about Marty, but also speaking about, I want to transition into support systems. Support systems. How important is your support system for your academic success?
Like, my support system is so important to me. It's so unreal. Like, my parents, like, they're my biggest support system. My parents and my brothers, like, like I said, I grew up around sports, and I grew up around my brother's sport, and I grew up around my parents, and they were always pushing, but like pushing in a positive way, and telling me that I could do anything that I wanted to do, that I had to work for it, that it wasn't just going to get handed to you, but you can do it. Like you can be the best that you want to be. Like, you can be this person that you want to be. You can be the athlete that you want to be. And my parents engraved that into me, and I feel like that's a lot of the reason why I am who I am, why I work the way that I work, why I have these big goals, is because my parents, like, supported me through that, and over again told me that I could do it. And I think without them, obviously be a completely different person and have a completely different mindset. My dad was on the national team as an Olympic weightlifter, and my mom was a great athlete as well, and she supported my dad through everything. And just knowing their history and their past, and my dad being able to pass along the information that he gathered through his career as an athlete was amazing. Like him and I, we used to, like when I was in the varsity season and after my U23 world championships, I was kind of in like a mellow state. I had just lost in the bronze. I was not happy. But like and me and him, we would go every Friday. We would go out for breakfast and we would just talk. Cause I don't live at home anymore. But him and I would go out for breakfast and we would just talk. We would talk. It was mainly wrestling, but we would talk about a lot of things. But it was mainly like mentality and how are you going to approach this and how are you going to gain confidence again? How are you going to do this? And but it was so natural. It wasn't like it didn't feel like therapy. It didn't feel like I was like, but it was
Therapy with that.
like it didn't feel like it. And I see my mom all the time and they're my parents, but like I feel very close with them and they come to everything. They don't miss a damn thing.
Mhm.
Like and if they do, it's cuz there's nothing they could have done about it and they're even more devastated than I am. Like my mom came to the world championships with me last year. Um, my dad comes on a lot of our training camps, like because him and Marty are friends, and he can pass along like strength and conditioning information. But he's also just there to support me, and that's such a unique thing that I get to experience. Like he came to Japan with us, like he doesn't miss anything, and he videos and we go through it. And again, like I wouldn't be the athlete I am without them.
Mhm. Well, you hit on strength and conditioning. That's one of my fortes. I absolutely love lifting. That's one of the things I went into kind of after my retirement, lifting. I'm a big guy. Of course, with my dad's frame, genetically,
Yeah.
I could have been a 6'5", but my mom's 5 foot nothing, so I got a little ripped off there. I'm 6 foot. But I think I was able to dip into his genes where he was a big lad.
Mhm.
Um, and strength has really interested me. I just did a podcast. Well, didn't just did one, but again, I'm going to plug my podcast with this fella. His name is Vern Gambetta. Vern Gambetta was the strength training coach for the 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chicago Bulls, back when Michael Jordan was there. And he actually currently trains Summer McIntosh. And I'm not sure if you know that name. If you do, you're not. If you don't, you're not Canadian.
Yeah.
But he
What?
trained. Yeah. So I met Vern through Jim Richardson, the University of Michigan's coach. And basically, Jim was unhappy with his strength training with his dry land with his guys. He went to Vern on the off chance maybe he'll answer my phone call. He did, and they started working together. Same thing with me. I started talking to Jim, and I was like, maybe he'll answer me. And we did a podcast together. But he opened my eyes to strength training in athletes and how what you do in the gym, bench press, squats. Sometimes they don't transfer to the sport. You got to find different ways of, I guess, tweaking, um, and building strength in specific areas because wrestling is such a specific sport.
Yeah.
Um, Let me ask you this: what is your training like? Your weight training like? Because I'm sure there's people that are watching this or listening to this thinking, I've seen her wrestle and she's one tough kid. What does she do off the mat? Because I want to get buff like that.
Um, well, like our varsity program, like through our season, like I follow that
Mhm.
um like pretty regularly through our varsity season, and it's power cleans, it's chin ups, lots of chin ups, bench press, back squats. I do front squats. I hurt my back a long time ago and it's kind of just never really healed, so I adjust things accordingly. But we do a lot of sled pushes, things like that, and circuits. We do a lot of circuits. And when I'm in the summer, last summer, I spent time training with my dad, and a lot of it was muscle endurance training and circuits. I just think circuits are so good for wrestling specifically. And now we're kind of in the middle of changing our weights a little bit because of our experience in Japan. A lot more body weight partner work, and that I feel like is really good because it is still strength and conditioning training, but someone's on your back. It's not the bar, it's a
Mhm.
person. And I think that that really connects to wrestling a lot better than other things. But myself personally, I spent a lot of time through COVID and everything Olympic lifting. My dad was an Olympic lifter, so I did a lot of power cleans, power jerks, snatches, split jerks, things like that, and just squats. I remember so specifically this one workout that my dad would put me through. And it's like we had a punching bag, and it was like you flip the punching bag,
Mhm.
and I feel like that's such a good one. And another one, it would be laid out, and you would sprawl, you would shoot across the side, turn around, sprawl, shoot across the side, and then we'd go outside, and I would have to throw a medicine ball up behind me and run, and it could only bounce once, and if it bounced more than once, it didn't count. And then and then we get dumbbells, and it would be pretty heavy dumbbells, like um, 50-pound dumbbells, and you'd lunge across the backyard. And I got a pretty big backyard. It was far. But like the workouts change a lot, and through our program with his name's Isaac, is our strength trainer at Brock, and he's great. He's super passionate about. We had Steve Lidstone for a long time, but he moved up. He's like an assistant athletic director now at Brock. So we have Isaac, and he's awesome. He's super passionate, and he's open to changing a lot of things that adjust more to wrestling. But sorry, I'm kind of just like talking. But
No, that's what we want. That's why, hey, this is my show, but
yeah,
it's also you, the athletes, right? And people want to hear this. Like I'm listening to you talk about your dad, the relationship that you're building with him too. That's got to be great too, just to be able to one pick his brain, but spend time with him. And he must be so proud to actually see the transfer in his his teaching going into because as we get older, fathers, our parents, we live vicariously through our children. And I saw that with my dad. I didn't like it so much sometimes, but I can see that where I'm trying to help my kids along, whether it's with swimming. I don't know anything about swimming, so I'll send my kids to camps down in the U.S. Football or whatever. I try to do that to him. How is that? I guess that relationship with your father gotten because of that. With
it's it's been great. It's like honestly, like I'm so appreciative of everything that he does, like even without me there, just to learn wrestling better. Like he is all over YouTube figuring out, he's showing me techniques.
Mhm.
He'll like he'll we're on Instagram, and he's sending me all these technique videos and just like reels like that. And when I go over to see them, we're always talking wrestling. And I really hope that I am doing him proud and showing him like that I am listening through his teachings and stuff, because I am. And it's great. Like him and I have a really, really good relationship because it's father daughter, but it's also like life coach. Like but it's such a unique thing that I feel like him and I have that I'm so grateful for. And like I said, like he goes out of his way to learn wrestling. He goes out of his way to watch my matches specifically over and over and over again. And he wrestled, I think, like the tiniest bit when he was in the ninth grade, but it was nothing like to the extent of what I'm doing. Like at least in wrestling, obviously in weightlifting,
Mhm.
he's national team and amazing. And but wrestling, like he dove the same way that I dove into the sport. He dove into the sport,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like we're doing it together. We're doing this like him and I were doing this together, and my mom as well. And she's a different support system than my dad is, like in the way that my dad and I go through techniques together and we work out those things. And my mom's one of my best friends, honest to God.
Mhm.
Like her and I, like I said, she came to the Worlds, and she came to this last tournament in Calgary. And her and I spend, every time we go somewhere, we spend an extra few days together there, wherever we are. And like, that's amazing. And
That's right. You were in Banff, right?
yes, yeah.
nationals. I contacted you and you said, no, we can't do it because we were going to try to do it last week. I had an opening. And then
Yeah.
you said, no, I can't. I'm out with my mom, which is great. I appreciate that because, spending time with family is so important, especially when you're training and you're an athlete and you're in school. Finding the time to actually sit down with your parent can be a cumbersome process, I guess.
Yeah, and like I feel like I got so lucky. I got so lucky that I picked up wrestling, and the best coach in the country, one of the best coaches in the world, and the best program in the country is a 20-minute drive from my house. I got so lucky in that sense that that's what that's how my cards laid out. Like, and I feel like luck has like no one wants to hear this, but I feel like luck has such a big thing to do with everyone's situation. Maybe it's not luck. Maybe everything's meant to happen that way, but I don't know.
I think luck is what you make of it too. I mean,
Yeah.
you put yourself in certain spots and places in life, and some people just don't take advantage of you were those things that you described. Were always there. But people don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
If you
That's
take
really
advantage of things, that luck is it's lucky that they were there, but you got to have that mindset to take advantage of it, and you did.
yeah.
You took the the most you could out of it, and you still are.
Hmm.
Great. Um, so I kind of wanted to touch a little bit on this. You're talking about your support system. I just was, I guess, I was watching a football game. Parents involved and stuff like that, and I saw what saw the banter back and forth with the child. And it was for me as a coach and as a parent to see, it was like, oh my God, there was such as it was the kid was doing something wrong. The parent yelled at him, and the kid responded with him yelling back at him, regardless of the technique, what happened. That exchange was going on, and it really broke my heart to see that happen. You're talking about a relationship that you have that has been nurtured by positive support, involvement. That's the kind of, I think, relationship parents should strive to have with their children, because when you become I guess, when you try to intervene and become, an expert and push that upon your kids and have expectations when you're not supporting, you can make them, put your kids in a different spot and not enjoy the sport anymore. Uh,
Yeah.
so I love hearing the fact that your parents are so supportive. Because for me as a coach, if you're, I don't even want those type of parents parents in my room. I don't even, I see that I've seen it sometimes where, the parents overstep and I have to talk to them and say, hey, listen, let them enjoy it. Really,
Mhm.
like, let them enjoy it, because if they're not enjoying it, they're going to quit. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that was, it's great that you have that, and that's probably, it definitely contributes to your success. It can't take away from it.
I think so. Yeah, I definitely think it contributes to my success.
That's awesome. So you're aspiring to become an Olympian. Obviously, it's not going to happen for you this year because Tana,
Almost.
Tay, that's what I was thinking, and that's it. At the beginning of this podcast, my brain was fried, and now at the end, it's coming to be fried again. It must be the electronics or the radiation coming out from the screen. Who knows?
Definitely. It's the head.
Yeah, maybe these things here, there. Yeah. Um, but you still have that dream. You were just, I mean, you were so close to the dream. It was taken away by your teammate, which we discussed already. But now your sights are set for the next Olympic Games, I'm assuming. And do you have a plan in place? Are you looking that far ahead, or are you just looking into the immediate future?
um, I feel like there's always a part of me that's looking that far ahead. Like it's LA. Like I want to be an Olympic champ. Like I don't want to just be there.
Mhm.
I want to like I don't want to be a spectator in my own sport there. Like I want to go and I want to have success in LA, and I feel like that training for that starts yesterday. Like it's everything I feel like I've done since I've lost the Olympic trials. In the back of my mind, it's okay. It's the next one. Like everything that I had to fix because of what happened at the Olympic trials, I'm still fixing, and I'm still fixing mistakes. And but in the back of my mind, it's always LA. Like I feel like obviously I have tournaments and practices and before that, but the back of my head, it's always LA.
Hmm. Well, once you win your Olympic gold medal in LA, you can go to Disneyland.
Yes, and I've never been, so that'll be
Never
exciting.
been. Ah, well, we're a family of Disney. I think I've been to Disney. I'm going to say 9 times.
What?
Yeah, so we've been. So we go to Florida, but my brother still lives in California. We go down to. Well, the last time I went to Disney in California was I think it was just after COVID. No, before COVID. So that's the last time I seen my nephews. Or no, sorry, I didn't even see them. That was years before that. That's the last time I saw my nephews was actually um, at Disney. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, but it's a wonderful place. You got to go there, especially when you're wearing an Olympic medal. I'm sure people will let you on the rides. You know, get past past the lineups. Maybe some free food.
Somebody.
Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that you're focused on dreams. That you're focused. You've got goals set. Because some people, they'll just go in and they'll just hope that things happen for them through osmosis. If you have a plan, and I'm sure that's what you do have, you're going to be a lot more successful in doing so. I'm sure you had a plan coming into these Olympic trials. You're just going to build on those ones now.
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's been awesome speaking to you again. If you want to get a hold of you, how do we get a hold of you? I know I got a hold of you through on Instagram. Is there any other social media platforms that your fans or somebody that wants to help out with your career, or just say, yeah, hey, that great job? Is there any way that they can do that?
Instagram would be definitely the best way. That's probably the thing I'm on the most. So
Okay. That seems to be the U23 way. I've been looking for, and that's how I find you guys. Is like I'm on Instagram. I have to. I mean, I'm older. I won't disclose my age just yet. Uh, but I go onto Instagram and then I'll find I'll go onto Canada Wrestling, see who won the nationals, and then I'll go and see if there's. But there's some people that are missing, so I have to look for them. And yeah, so I mean, it's been tough getting a hold of you guys, but you guys have been. I think your mom and yourself have been following the show, so I've been
yeah.
kind of following you guys. And when you won the nationals, I was like, oh, perfect. We'll try to get them up. But the only thing that was kind of preventing me, I'm like, you know what? She wrestles for Brock, not another Brock wrestler. So it's kind of. I feel like I'm promoting Brock, but the thing
Hey,
is that
when you're
that's what wrestling is.
successful, you're successful.
Yeah. So we're going to promote the successful wrestlers. If you're not from Brock and you actually want to get on the show, just send me a message. But
Or
it
just
seems
come
like
to
let's come to Brock, she says. Yeah. So that's what I'm here for. I'm a Brock promoting machine currently, but I'd like to promote a few other universities as well. But I want to thank you again for coming on the show, taking the time out of your day to share your wrestling experience. There's going to be kids that are watching this or listening to this that are going to have the same dream as you. And I hope they can take away some things here that you're speaking about, what you need to become a successful in wrestling. You talk about support systems, you talk about the training, you talked about all those things. Those are the things that these kids are, hoping to put in their life. So thank you for sharing those with us. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun.